The Force binds all living things across the galaxy, connecting light and dark, life and death, destiny and chaos. Yet one day, a ripple formed, not a tremor within the Force, but an emptiness. A void that no Jedi could sense, no Sith could foresee. Something, or someone, had fallen from beyond the known stars, outside the Force's design. In another universe, under a simple blue sky, Saitama was doing what he did best, nothing. His hero work had grown quiet again, and boredom gnawed at him like a stubborn itch. "Haven't had a good fight in months," he muttered, staring blankly at the horizon. Then, as if fate had heard his complaint, a mosquito zipped by. His eyes sharpened. "You again." He lunged. The mosquito darted, and Saitama's punch cracked reality itself. A flash of white light tore across the sky, and for a moment, his world vanished. He awoke suspended in the silent void of space, staring at two suns burning over a pale desert world. Did I punch too hard again?" he wondered, drifting downward until gravity claimed him. The fall ended with a thunderous crash, sand scattering across a wide crater. A sandcrawler lurched to a halt nearby. Curious Jawas scuttled out, blinking at the sight of a bald man half buried in sand, cape fluttering lazily in the hot breeze. "Yutini," one squeaked, poking him with a scrap metal rod. Saitama stood up, brushing dust from his yellow suit. "Excuse me, you guys got a supermarket around here?" The Jawas exchanged puzzled beeps and gestures. One offered him a rusted droid arm. Another tried to sell him a cracked moisture condenser. "Guess that's a no," Saitama sighed. Overhead, twin suns baked the horizon. The air smelled of iron and scorched dust. Somewhere far off, a banda groaned. Saitama squinted, realizing the planet stretched endlessly in every direction. "Ha! Desert world. Great. Wonder if there's a sale on sunscreen." Before long, Tusken raiders appeared, drawn by the noise. They circled, raising gaffy sticks, howling through their masks. "Oh, new people. Maybe they know directions," Saitama said cheerfully. When one fired a blaster bolt, the shot bounced off his cheek harmlessly. "Ow. That's rude." He flicked the air. A wind shockwave sent the raiders tumbling over the dunes, unconscious. High above, an Imperial probe droid witnessed everything. It transmitted the footage instantly to an orbiting star destroyer. Within minutes, word reached the Empire. An unknown entity had survived atmospheric re-entry unarmed, resisted blaster fire, and displaced a platoon of Tuskens with a single motion. On the Executor, Darth Vader turned to a trembling officer. "You are certain?" His voice was deep, mechanical, unreadable. "Yes, my lord." The being appeared, human. But the scanners detected no Force signature at all. Vader's silence was heavier than space itself. "No presence in the Force," he murmured. "Yet it destroys armies." Saitama, meanwhile, trudged toward the nearest settlement, Mos Eisley. The wind howled around him, carrying the faint smell of oil and spice. Starships rose and fell like metallic birds. Droids bustled through the streets beside smugglers and aliens of every shape. He blinked. Okay, definitely not Z-City anymore. A Rodian vendor waved a bowl of stew under his nose. "Try. Fresh dewback meat." Saitama looked hopeful. "You take, yen." The Rodian blinked. "Credits only." "Figures," he sighed, stomach growling softly. At the cantina, heads turned as he walked in. His yellow jumpsuit looked ridiculous among bounty hunters and outlaws. A few snickered. One Trandoshan leaned close. "Lost, skinsack." Saitama smiled faintly. "Just looking for something to eat. And maybe, a sale." Blasters cocked. Chairs scraped. Someone muttered, "He doesn't even carry a weapon." A single punch shattered the table. The entire cantina went silent. Dust rained from the ceiling. Saitama sighed again. "Man, this place is rough." Outside, stormtroopers were already assembling. Somewhere deep within Imperial Command, a message reached Coruscant. Emperor Palpatine's voice hissed through the holoprojector, "Send word to Lord Vader. We have found a curiosity." For the first time in millennia, the galaxy had encountered a being untouched by the Force, and it would never be the same again. If you want to see more characters enter the Star Wars galaxy, hit that subscribe button and drop the name of a character you'd want to see in the comments below. May the Force be with you. The suns dipped lower over Tatooine, casting long shadows. Somewhere beyond the dunes, the bald man in the cape kept walking, unaware that both Empire and Rebellion were about to collide over him. The twin suns hung low over the horizon as the heat rippled across the endless dunes. Tatooine, a planet forgotten by most, yet still filled with life scraping for survival. The sands whispered secrets of smugglers, Tusken raiders, and buried wrecks of the old Republic. Then suddenly, the sky split open. A bright, spherical burst of light ripped through the upper atmosphere, followed by the violent crack of thunder that made banthas roar and moisture farmers drop their tools. From within that burning streak, something fell, something small, human-shaped. Moments later, a crater yawned open near the edge of Mos Espa. Out of it climbed a man wearing a yellow suit, red gloves, and a blank expression that could make even a Sith second-guess his choices. Saitama, scratching his head, that was weird. I was chasing a mosquito in my apartment. Now I'm on another desert planet. The wind whipped across his face. He squinted at the horizon. Twin suns. A couple of weird lizard creatures. A sandcrawler creaking in the distance. Saitama, man. Genos would love this junkyard. A shadow fell over him, a Jawa transport slowing to investigate the crash site. Curious little figures peeked out, blinking through glowing orange lenses. One brave Jawa waddled closer and poked Saitama's cape. "Jawa, Utini." "Saitama, bless you." Within minutes, the little scavengers tried to drag him into their sandcrawler, probably thinking his red boots and gloves were some sort of valuable material. Saitama didn't resist, just let them pull at him while he looked around lazily. That's when something massive stirred in the distance, a crate dragon, its tail slicing the sand like a wave. The Jawas screamed and scattered, abandoning their cart. The beast let out a thunderous roar and lunged toward them. Saitama tilted his head. "Saitama, okay, that's kinda cool looking." As the dragon loomed over him, its mouth wide enough to swallow a ship, Saitama sighed. He raised one fist, just a simple, bored motion, and with a flick of his wrist, the entire desert shook. The dragon's head vanished in an instant, vaporized by an invisible force. The body slumped lifelessly into the sand, sending a wave of hot wind across the dunes. The Jawas screamed again, this time in awe, chanting and bowing. Saitama, shrugging, "Guess I still got it." The sound of the impact traveled miles away, all the way to Mos Espa's outskirts, where a tall figure in black robes turned his head. Darth Maul, to his comlink, something powerful has arrived. For the first time in years, the Sith assassin felt the Force tremble, not from the dark side, not from the light, but from something outside both. Something raw. Unfathomable. And as the suns began to set, a lone ship left orbit, its sensors tracking the source of the energy spike. Deep within its cockpit, Emperor Palpatine himself stared at the readings, his yellow eyes narrowing. Palpatine, hissing, unlimited power. A bald man in a cape had just become the most dangerous anomaly in the galaxy. When power without limit meets a galaxy defined by balance, everything changes. The echo of Saitama's punch spread across the force like a tidal wave. To most, it was just an explosion in the distant dunes. But to those attuned to the force, Jedi and Sith alike, it felt like the galaxy itself had flinched. Red Circle Coruscant, Jedi Temple. In the meditation chamber, Master Yoda's eyes snapped open. The candles around him flickered violently, bending under an unseen surge. Yoda, disturbance in the force, I feel. Vast, uncontrolled. No darkness, yet no light. Mace Windu entered moments later, his tone sharp. Mace, we're picking up strange readings from Tatooine. Massive energy output, but no identifiable source. Yoda, power beyond balance, this may be. Dangerous, it is, if one seeks to control it. The council gathered, Kenobi, Windu, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and Plo Koon among them. Each felt the same thing, an enormous presence that wasn't aligned to either side of the Force. It was like trying to sense gravity itself, immense, constant, impossible to grasp. Kenobi, if this being isn't tied to the Force, then how can he exist with such power? Yoda, perhaps, power needs no force. A reminder, it is, that even we, not all that is. The council voted to send an investigation team, led by Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan. They were to land discreetly on Tatooine and find the source before the Sith could. Black Circle meanwhile, the Sith's den, Exegol transmission. Far from the Jedi's calm chambers, Darth Sidious leaned over his holoprojector, studying a flickering recording from Mos Espa. Grainy footage showed a lone man standing over a crater where a crate dragon had been obliterated in one blow. Sidious, grinning, interesting. A creature who can destroy in an instant, yet, radiates no darkness. Darth Maul, watching from the shadows, crossed his arms. Maul, he's not a Jedi. No weapon, no technique. He just, punched it. Sidious, then he must be studied. Or, bent to serve. Maul's horns glinted in the dim light as he smirked. Maul, serve? Someone like that serves no one. Sidious turned slowly. Sidious, then he dies. The order was clear, find the anomaly and either corrupt him, or destroy him. Maul's ship left immediately, his double-bladed saber gleaming red under the dim light. Milky Way back on Tatooine. Saitama, completely unaware of galactic-scale panic, wandered into Mos Espa. He looked around, unimpressed. Saitama, weird place. Everyone's wearing robes. Guess laundry's expensive here too. He strolled through the streets as locals gawked at his bright outfit. A vendor tried to sell him blue milk. He asked for a discount and got chased away by a droid yelling about Republic credits only. In the background, a dark-robed figure landed quietly on the outskirts, Darth Maul. The crowd scattered as the Sith's presence chilled the air. He walked straight toward Saitama, stopping several meters away. Maul, you're the one who shattered the dunes. Saitama, tilting his head, oh, that dragon thing? Yeah, sorry. It was kinda noisy. Maul ignited his saber, a flash of crimson tearing through the dust. Maul, you possess unimaginable power, and yet you act like a fool. Saitama, not my fault strong guys keep dying after one punch. Maul lunged, faster than lightning, but before his blade could even graze Saitama, the bald hero simply flicked his forehead. The result? Maul flew backward through two sand huts, a speeder, and landed face first in a moisture tank. The crowd gasped. Even the droids froze. Saitama sighed. Saitama, man, why does everyone here go straight to fighting? Somewhere in the upper atmosphere, the Jedi ship entered orbit, Anakin's sensors blinking red. Anakin, Master, I think we just found the disturbance. Obi-Wan, yes, and I fear it may have found trouble before we did. Imagine facing a man who could end the entire Clone Wars with one punch. What do you think would happen if the Jedi and Sith tried to recruit Saitama? Drop your prediction in the comments. When the Force meets a man who doesn't need it, legends begin to tremble. The smoke was still rising from the half-destroyed Mos Espa market when the Jedi ship descended, kicking up a spiral of sand. Locals fled for cover, whispering tales of a bald god who destroyed monsters and Sith with a single blow. The ship's ramp lowered, revealing Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, cloaked in desert robes, lightsabers at their sides. Obi-Wan, this disturbance. Do you feel it, Anakin? Anakin, nodding, it's like thunder without sound. Like gravity itself has a heartbeat. They walked toward the center of the wrecked marketplace, where a small group of Jawas were bowing before a confused Saitama, offering him random droid parts like sacrifices. Saitama, thanks. But I don't need scrap metal. Got enough of that back home. Anakin approached first. Anakin, you there? Identify yourself. Saitama, turning lazily, oh hey. You guys the local police or something? Obi-Wan's gaze sharpened. The force around this man was blank. No light, no dark, no presence at all, just an infinite void that somehow radiated immense power. Obi-Wan, whispering, Anakin. I can't feel him through the force. Anakin, neither can I. But whatever he is, he's strong. Saitama, name's Saitama. I'm a hero, for fun. Anakin blinked. Anakin, for fun. Saitama, yeah. You know, when you get bored and need something to do. The Jedi exchanged glances. The idea that someone could casually wield such power without training, discipline, or even purpose was terrifying. Crossed swords the test. Without warning, Anakin's curiosity got the better of him. He ignited his saber, a blue glow bathing the sand. Anakin, let's see what kind of power you really have. Obi-Wan, Anakin, don't. But before Obi-Wan could stop him, Anakin lunged forward, swinging fast enough to slice through a starfighter's hull. Saitama simply blinked, and sidestepped lazily. The blade missed by an inch. The next moment, Anakin's saber was gone, as in, Saitama was holding it, looking confused. Saitama, this your flashlight? It hums kinda funny. Obi-Wan stepped in, hands raised. Obi-Wan, peace, friend. We don't mean to fight. We're trying to understand what you are. Saitama, handing back the saber, what I am. I'm just a guy who trained too much, I guess. The Jedi were speechless. Obi-Wan had faced Sith, bounty hunters, even droids designed to kill Jedi, yet nothing felt as unsettling as this calm, blank man who could end anyone with a shrug. Later, in a quiet corner of the Mos Espa cantina, they sat together over blue milk. Anakin stared at Saitama like he was staring into the future he wanted, unlimited power, effortless control. Anakin, do you know what the Force is? Saitama, some kind of energy thing, right? Sounds cool, but I've never needed it. Anakin, you don't use the Force, yet you destroy dragons and defeat Sith like they're nothing. Saitama shrugged. Saitama, I just trained. Really hard. 10 years straight. 100 push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and a lot of running. Anakin looked genuinely shaken. Anakin, that's it? Saitama, pretty much. Obi-Wan's eyes narrowed. Obi-Wan, power without discipline leads to chaos. You could destroy the galaxy if you're not careful. Saitama, sipping his drink, nah. Not interested. I just want to find something fun again. The tone hit something deep in Anakin, a reflection of his own frustration. He had everything, training, destiny, the Force, yet here was someone who had everything without it. Anakin, quietly, do you ever feel trapped by your power? Saitama, staring out the window all the time. New moon the Sith returns. Before the conversation could go deeper, a wave of darkness swept through the cantina, a chill that made every cup tremble. From the doorway, smoke rolled in. Darth Maul stepped through again, his body partially repaired by Sith alchemy, his rage boiling. "Maul, you think you can humiliate me and walk away, mortal?" Saitama, groaning, "Oh. It's you again. Look, man, I don't like rematches." Maul's sabers spun into life. Anakin and Obi-Wan ignited theirs instantly, ready for battle. But before anyone could move, Saitama simply patted Maul on the shoulder. The Sith's armor shattered. Maul collapsed into the sand, unconscious, again. Anakin turned to Obi-Wan, eyes wide. "Anakin, we need to take him to the council." "Obi-Wan, we need to pray the council doesn't take him." When ultimate power meets ultimate corruption, the galaxy itself holds its breath. The next few days spread rumors like wildfire through every corner of the galaxy. Whispers of the bald god of Tatooine. A man who defeated both a Sith Lord and a krayt dragon with no weapon, no force, and no fear. To the Jedi, he was an anomaly. To the Sith, a threat. To the common people, a legend. And to Emperor Palpatine, he was a potential weapon. Flying saucer, a summons from the Empire. While Anakin and Obi-Wan debated what to do next, a sleek, black shuttle descended from orbit. Stormtroopers flooded the desert. At their center, a cloaked emissary bowed before Saitama. "Emissary, the Emperor himself requests an audience. He offers reward beyond measure." Saitama, scratching his neck. "Emperor? Is that like a mayor?" Obi-Wan, sternly, "Don't go with them. He's dangerous." Anakin, hesitant, "Maybe we should hear him out." Obi-Wan shot his apprentice a warning glare, but Saitama just sighed. Saitama, "Fine, fine. But if this Emperor guy starts monologuing, I'm leaving." High voltage. The throne room, Coruscant. Darkness cloaked the chamber. Red light pulsed from beneath the obsidian floor. At the center sat Emperor Palpatine, his hood casting shadows over his cracked face. He studied the man who now stood before him, plain, bored, unimpressed. No fear. No reverence. No emotion at all. Palpatine, slowly, "You are not of this galaxy." Saitama, shrugging, "Yeah. Got lost. Happens." Palpatine, "You possess limitless strength. I sense nothing from you in the Force. Yet the Force moves around you, as if terrified." Saitama tilted his head. Saitama, "Weird. You sound like a guy trying too hard to be mysterious." Palpatine chuckled darkly. "Palpatine, join me. Together, we could end the Jedi. End war. End suffering. I will give you planets, armies, purpose." Saitama looked around the throne room, unimpressed. "Saitama, you're offering me work? Sounds exhausting." Palpatine, leaning forward, "You could rule the galaxy." Saitama, "Nah. Too much paperwork." The Emperor's smile faltered. His fingers twitched, lightning crackling between them. Palpatine, "You refuse, me?" Saitama, shrugging, "Yeah. I don't like wrinkly guys yelling." In a flash, Palpatine unleashed a storm of Force lightning so intense it shattered the marble columns. Bolts struck Saitama directly, but he didn't flinch. He just blinked, slightly annoyed. Saitama, "Ow. That tickled." Then, with one casual wave of his hand, he flicked the lightning back. The entire chamber exploded in blue-white energy, tossing stormtroopers like leaves in a hurricane. Palpatine barely caught himself midair, gasping. Never before, not even with Yoda or Vader, had he faced power like this. Palpatine, hoarse, trembling, what, are you? Saitama, walking away, just a guy looking for a sale at the grocery store. But since I'm stuck here, I might as well go sightseeing. He left the Emperor's throne room in ruins. Palpatine slumped in his chair, the smell of scorched robes filling the air. Palpatine, to himself, such power, beyond the Force itself. He must be eliminated. Shooting star across the galaxy. News of what happened reached the Jedi Council within hours. Mace Windu, he defeated the Emperor himself. Yoda, gravely, no victory, this is. Power like his, balance cannot contain. Meanwhile, Anakin sat in silence, replaying Saitama's words. No purpose. Just fun. For the Chosen One, those words were haunting, the idea that one could be all-powerful and yet utterly directionless. Anakin, whispering, if I had that power, I'd use it to fix everything. A seed was planted, small, dark, and dangerous. Collision meanwhile on Coruscant's lower levels. Saitama wandered the streets, eating space noodles, trying to find a place that sold groceries. Everywhere he went, people stared. Some bowed. Others ran. Droids malfunctioned in his presence. He had become a living myth, the one who can't be beaten. But deep down, he was the same bored man from another world. The galaxy worshipped him. The Force feared him. The Sith hated him. And Saitama? He just wanted to find someone who could make him feel alive again. Even legends envy gods, and in that envy, galaxies burn. High voltage, the seed of jealousy. Anakin Skywalker couldn't sleep. The image of Saitama, calm and unbothered in the face of the Emperor's power, haunted him like a nightmare that refused to fade. He replayed it over and over in his mind. Palpatine's lightning, harmless against Saitama. The Force, useless around him. The galaxy, whispering the name, the bald god. Anakin had spent his entire life training, sacrificing, obeying, for what? To be the chosen one, only to be overshadowed by a man who didn't even try. Anakin, muttering to himself, he doesn't deserve that power, he doesn't respect it. Padme noticed the shift in him. His eyes were darker, his words sharper. Padme, Anakin, you're not yourself lately. What's bothering you? Anakin, you wouldn't understand. Imagine dedicating your whole life to the Force, and then someone just shows up and breaks it. Padme frowned softly. Padme, maybe he's not meant to break it. Maybe he's meant to remind everyone it isn't everything. But Anakin wasn't listening anymore. He was already imagining the day he'd face Saitama, and prove he was still the chosen one. Shooting star, the Jedi Council's decision. The council gathered again, tension thick in the chamber. Mace Windu, the Emperor's palace lies in ruins. Saitama walks free. We can't ignore him. Ki-Adi-Mundi, he's not a Sith. He's not a Jedi. He's something else. Yoda, a balance breaker, he is. Too strong to stay. Obi-Wan, uneasy, he's not evil. He doesn't want power. Mace, intent doesn't matter if existence alone disrupts the Force. The council voted, reluctantly, to monitor him. But in truth, they were preparing for confrontation. Only Obi-Wan protested. Obi-Wan, if we treat him like a threat, he will become one. Mace, then pray he doesn't take offense easily. Flying saucer, the encounter. Days later, as Coruscant's night lights shimmered like stars, Saitama sat atop a tall building, eating instant noodles and looking at the city below. Saitama, sighing, billions of people, and still no challenge. Guess boredom's universal. A blue glow reflected off his bowl. He turned, and found Anakin Skywalker standing behind him, saber ignited. Anakin, you're a threat to the balance of the galaxy. Saitama, slurping, nah. I'm just trying to finish dinner. Anakin, You humiliated the Emperor, made the Jedi question their beliefs. You think you can just exist here without consequence? Saitama shrugged. Saitama, I didn't ask to be here. I didn't even ask to be called the Bald God. People just started doing that. Anakin, furious, you don't even want the power you have. You don't deserve it. The rooftop trembled as Anakin's rage bled into the Force. His eyes flickered, not yet yellow, but close. Saitama, looking tired, kid, you're taking this way too seriously. Anakin lunged, faster than most eyes could follow. Saitama didn't move. He just let Anakin swing, blocking each strike with a single finger, barely paying attention. Saitama, you done? Anakin, gritting teeth, fight me seriously. Saitama, trust me, you don't want that. Anakin screamed, unleashing a force push so massive it shattered nearby towers. Saitama simply blinked as the energy wave dispersed around him like wind against a mountain. Then, finally, Saitama stood. He didn't punch. He didn't attack. He simply looked at Anakin, calm, empty, unshakable. That single look was enough. The force around Anakin faltered. His saber flickered. His knees buckled. Saitama, quietly, you've got too much anger, kid. It's gonna eat you alive. Anakin's blade deactivated. His breath trembled. For a moment, the Chosen One saw the truth, power wasn't freedom. It was a cage. But that moment vanished as quickly as it came. He fell to his knees, trembling with a mix of fury and humiliation. Saitama turned away, muttering. Saitama, I really need to stop talking to emotional people. Black Circle, the Emperor's whisper. In the shadows of Coruscant, Palpatine watched through the Force, smiling. Palpatine, to himself, good, let the boy's hatred grow. The Bald One may be untouchable, but the Chosen One can still be molded. He had failed to control Saitama, but he could use him. All he needed was Anakin's jealousy, and the galaxy would burn itself apart. Milky Way, the rise of the Bald God myth. Across the galaxy, the legend of Saitama grew. Smugglers told tales of a man who could punch star destroyers in half. Jedi whispered that he was the physical embodiment of balance, or imbalance. Sith feared him as the Forcebreaker. Yet Saitama remained, bored. A man who could end any war, topple any empire, and yet couldn't find a fight that thrilled him. Saitama, to himself, man. I just wanted groceries. A bald man walks into the Senate, and the Force trembles. The galaxy had gone silent for one terrifying day. Rumors spread like wildfire, a super being on Coruscant. No Force signature. No allegiance. No weakness. The Jedi Council called an emergency session. The Senate panicked. And Emperor Palpatine, hiding behind his political mask, was already scheming. In the midst of that chaos, one man stood before the Republic's most guarded gates, wearing a tattered yellow suit and a tired look. Saitama, yeah. I heard this Palp something guy's looking for me. Can we just talk? The clone troopers surrounding him raised their blasters, forming a perimeter. Their commander barked. By order of the Senate, stand down and surrender. Saitama blinked, sighed, and scratched his cheek. Man, this always happens. He took one step forward. Every alarm in the district went off. Blasters fired in unison, a barrage of blue light. The impact? Nothing. The bolts simply disappeared, absorbed into the faint distortion of heat radiating from his skin. The clones stopped firing. Their sensors malfunctioned. The ground beneath them cracked. A Republic gunship hovered in, dropping a squad of Jedi. Mace Windu led them, purple lightsaber ignited, the reflection gleaming across Saitama's blank eyes. Windu, You've caused disturbances across the system. You ended Maul. You've disrupted the Force itself. Who are you? Saitama, just a hero for fun. The Jedi exchanged puzzled glances. Even Yoda's hologram flickered beside them, frowning deeply. Yoda, fun, he says, danger, I sense. Power without balance, chaos this brings. Windu advanced, every step calculated, his stance grounded. Windu, if you're not here to destroy, then prove it. Stand down. Saitama looked around, noticing the giant Senate building towering in the distance. Saitama, that the place with your boss. Cool. Let's get this over with. Before anyone could react, Saitama vanished, moved faster than thought itself. The air collapsed behind him, forming a shockwave that shattered every window within a mile. When he reappeared, he stood at the foot of the Senate chamber, looking up at the towering podium where Emperor Palpatine stood cloaked in shadows. Palpatine, smiling faintly, the visitor from beyond. The Force cannot touch you, fascinating. Saitama, Force? Sorry, I don't really do magic stuff. I just, punch. Palpatine, mock curiosity, then punch, me. The Senate guards backed away as the Emperor extended his hands, lightning crackling between his fingers. The blue bolt struck Saitama dead on, yet instead of writhing in pain, he merely yawned. Saitama, feels like static. Palpatine's grin faltered. His lightning intensified, blasting harder, shaking the chamber, yet the bald hero didn't flinch. Finally, Saitama took one lazy step forward and flicked Palpatine on the forehead. The Emperor flew across the chamber, his body slamming into his own throne hard enough to leave a crater. The entire Senate floor gasped. From the gallery above, Yoda whispered to Windu through the Force. Yoda, no dark, no light, no balance. Power absolute. Unpredictable, he is. Palpatine rose slowly, burnt and humiliated. Palpatine, you, will kneel before me. Saitama, nah. I just wanted directions home. At that moment, the Force itself rippled unnaturally. Every Jedi felt it. Every Sith heard it. Saitama's presence was bending reality. Coruscant trembled. And then, something inside him, a tiny spark of boredom, finally cracked. Saitama, quietly, you know what? I think I've had enough of this hero thing. The chamber fell silent. The Jedi prepared for anything. The Emperor smiled darkly, sensing an opportunity. Palpatine, whispering, yes, let the emptiness consume you, become my weapon. But Saitama simply looked down at his gloved hands and said. Saitama, or maybe. I just need ramen. The energy in the room deflated instantly. The Emperor blinked. Mace Windu exhaled like he'd dodged the apocalypse. Saitama turned to leave, and the door collapsed behind him from the leftover shockwave of his motion. The galaxy's mightiest powers had just witnessed something beyond comprehension, and he'd walked away like it was nothing. When the Force meets something that shouldn't exist, the galaxy holds its breath. It began as a tremor, subtle at first. A strange echo rippled through the cosmos, whispering through every star system. The Jedi felt it as dizziness. The Sith felt it as hunger. Across the galaxy, hyperspace currents flickered like candle flames in the wind. Saitama's casual presence, unanchored by the Force, unburdened by destiny, was breaking the fundamental rules that bound reality. On Coruscant, Yoda sat motionless in meditation. The council chamber was dark, the wind moaning through the tall glass windows. Suddenly, his eyes opened wide, fear flashing for the first time in decades. Yoda, the balance, slipping, it is. The Force, bleeds. At the same moment, in the deep black void of space, Emperor Palpatine clutched his chest in the middle of a Sith ritual. His veins glowed faintly red, then darkened again as the energy around him spasmed like a storm. Palpatine, he's not from this reality. He's an infection. Even the dark side recoils. On Mustafar, the lava rivers froze for 3 seconds. On Dagobah, the trees screamed in silence. On Tatooine, the twin suns flickered, an omen no one could explain. Meanwhile, Saitama sat at a noodle stand in Coruscant's lower district. He was quietly slurping a bowl of steaming broth, chatting with the droid chef who didn't seem to care that his customer had just nearly destroyed the Senate building. "Droid chef, customer, did you cause that big energy disturbance earlier?" Saitama, probably. "Long day." "Droid chef, you wish extra noodles?" Saitama, please. As he ate, something shimmered before him, the air thickened, and a translucent figure appeared across the counter. It was a Force ghost, Qui-Gon Jinn, flickering between dimensions, his expression grave. "Qui-Gon, you do not belong here, yet you exist without corruption." "How?" Saitama, mouth full, dunno. "Just got lost chasing a mosquito." "Qui-Gon, your being, it disrupts the Force. The light and dark bend around you. You are not meant for balance, you erase it." Saitama, that bad? "Qui-Gon, for this universe, catastrophic." And then the ghost vanished, leaving the droid staring blankly. Above Coruscant, ships lost navigation control. Jedi temples reported their lightsabers flickering like dying torches. Sith holocrons went silent, their voices erased. The very essence of energy seemed uncertain. The galaxy was unraveling, not through violence, but through impossibility. Back on the Jedi Council, Windu turned to Yoda. "Windu, if he stays, we lose everything, light, dark, all of it." "Yoda, destroy him, we cannot. Beyond our reach, he is." "Windu, then we have to send him back." "But how do you send back someone who doesn't even operate under your universe's physics?" At that exact moment, Palpatine made contact through the shadows. "Palpatine, via hologram, we may despise each other, Master Windu, but on this matter, we agree. He must be removed, before reality tears apart." Across the galaxy, the impossible alliance began, Jedi and Sith working together, for the first and only time, to restore the balance. Yet, none of them knew that the Force itself had already made a decision. In the heart of hyperspace, that glowing storm between stars, a new anomaly formed. A tear, swirling like liquid glass, pulling light and darkness alike toward it. A voice echoed in the minds of the strongest Force sensitives across the galaxy. "He does not belong, return him." And as that rift grew, Saitama looked up from his bowl. "Saitama, weird, feels like someone's calling me." He stood, left some credits on the counter, and walked into the night, unaware that every planet, every system, every living being was trembling at the idea that his next step could end creation itself. When power meets destiny, and destiny blinks first. The galaxy trembled. Not from war. Not from fleets or Sith rituals, but from something older, deeper, cosmic. In hyperspace, a storm was forming, a swirling rift of light and shadow, pulling ships off course and shattering communication lines. It wasn't a natural event. It wasn't even a weapon. It was the Force itself, twisting to heal the tears Saitama's presence had caused. On Coruscant, the Jedi Council stood before the projected image of the rift. The holomap glowed violently, showing stars bending like ripples on water. "Windu, that's where it's trying to expel him." "Yoda, alive, perhaps not. Balance, demands sacrifice." At the same time, deep within the Sith sanctum, Palpatine watched the same readings, his yellow eyes feverish with greed and fear. "Palpatine, if I can control it, if I can harness the rift, I will become the Force itself. His ship rose from Coruscant, heading toward the storm. The Jedi weren't far behind. Every major power in the galaxy converged on that one point in space, unknowingly chasing the same man. And that man? He was sitting cross-legged on an asteroid, looking into the storm like someone trying to decide if it was worth the trip. Saitama, sighing, this place has too much drama. Guess I should head back before someone else freaks out. As he stood, the rift pulsed, expanding suddenly. From within, glowing tendrils of energy lashed out, wrapping around him. He didn't resist at first. It felt strange. Not painful, just heavy, like a dream trying to drag him home. Then he heard it, a whisper in his mind, deep and thunderous, as if the universe itself had spoken. You are anomaly. Creation trembles. Return. Saitama, okay, but, can you, ask nicely? The tendrils tightened. Space warped around him. Planets thousands of light years away flickered in and out of existence. You do not belong. You distort the balance. Saitama, grinning, balance, huh? Guess I've been doing that my whole life. A surge of cosmic energy slammed into him, pure, unfiltered Force energy. Jedi on distant worlds fell to their knees. Sith temples cracked apart. And still, Saitama didn't move. He clenched one fist. The air around him imploded. Saitama, all right, universe, you asked for it. He punched, not out of anger, not even out of effort, but as a reflex. The Force itself shattered like glass. The rift exploded in a burst of color, blue, gold, crimson, expanding across hyperspace. For one impossible instant, every living being in the galaxy saw him, a small, bald man standing against the storm, surrounded by the broken threads of destiny. In the Jedi temple, Yoda whispered. Yoda, the Force, Bose. In Palpatine's shuttle, alarms screamed as space folded violently. Palpatine, panicking, what have you done, fool? You've destroyed. And then everything went silent. The stars blinked. The rift vanished. The galaxy was whole again. When the light faded, Saitama was gone. No trace. No energy reading. Just calm silence across the cosmos. But elsewhere, in a quiet apartment in Z-City, a mosquito buzzed lazily through the air. A bald man sat up from his futon, stretching. Saitama, ha. Weird dream. He stood, looked around, then frowned. His cape had a singe mark. His ramen bowl was still warm. Outside, Genos called. Genos, sensei. Did you feel that dimensional fluctuation just now? Saitama, yawning, nah. Probably nothing. The camera zooms out, from the tiny window of his apartment, to the city skyline, to the stars above. For the faintest second, the galaxy of Star Wars shimmers behind the clouds, like a reflection through time. And then it fades, leaving only peace. Centuries later, the galaxy still whispers his name. The galaxy survived. The suns burned bright again, the hyperspace lanes stabilized, and the Force, though wounded, slowly mended its invisible threads. To the ordinary citizen, life went on as if nothing happened. But to the few who had witnessed the storm firsthand, nothing would ever be the same. Deep in the Jedi archives on Coruscant, a sealed holocron pulsed faintly with blue light. It bore no title, only an image of a simple circle and 3 lines radiating from it, crudely drawn. Inside the recording, Master Yoda's voice lingered, weathered and cautious. Yoda, archival recording, from beyond balance, he came. Not darkness, not light. Only power, simple and pure. The Force trembled, and then learned fear. Centuries passed. Civilizations rose and fell. The Jedi faded, the Sith evolved, and yet stories endured, stories of a bald god who once walked among stars and defeated the universe itself with a single punch. On Tatooine, wandering monks told tales of a desert traveler who slew a dragon with one strike. On Coruscant, children whispered about the Cape Demon who made even the Emperor kneel. And in the secret teachings of the Grey Order, a hidden text described him as the one outside the Force. He was not guided by fate, nor seduced by darkness. His power was absolute, because he sought nothing. Yet, none could truly comprehend him. Jedi scholars argued he was a test from the Force itself. Sith cultists claimed he was proof that power could exist beyond control. Entire religions sprang up, some worshipped his apathy, others feared it. Meanwhile, in a quiet corner of the galaxy, on a forgotten moon orbiting a red star, a hermit droid sat alone, its memory core containing fragments of an ancient recording. The screen flickered, showing a bald man in a yellow suit slurping noodles. The droid sensors hummed softly. Droid log entry number 9999, subject unknown. Classification, unmeasurable. Emotion detected, boredom. It paused. Then, almost wistfully, added. Droid, if he ever returns, may the stars prepare themselves. The recording ended with static. In a post-credits moment, somewhere beyond the known galaxy, a ripple spread across the void. A familiar silhouette floated in space, hands tucked behind his head, looking at a cluster of unfamiliar stars. Saitama, huh? Guess this isn't Earth either, maybe I took a wrong turn again. He glanced at a nearby planet shaped suspiciously like a smiling face. Saitama, well, hope they've got ramen. He kicked off gently, drifting toward his next accidental adventure, unaware that his legend had already become myth. And that's how the legend of Saitama, the bald god of the Force, was born. Centuries later, the galaxy still trembles at the memory of a man who didn't care about power, but broke the universe anyway. What crossover should we do next? Maybe what if Darth Vader entered the One Punch Man universe? Tell us your ideas in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because the multiverse is just getting started.